Hello, I'm Rico Cavella, and I welcome you to this episode of Fearless Aging, where in every episode, my guests and we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to greatly improve your overall health and well-being. So we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out and make a bigger positive difference in the world. Okay, so the title of today's episode is How to Have Radiant Skin for Life. And our expert guest, her name is Rachel Varga. She's a double board certified aesthetic nurse specialist, and she's also the creator of the School of Radiance. And before I actually bring her in, we have a really cool introduction video for her. So we're going to play that right now.
Hi there, I'm Rachel Varga, double board certified aesthetic nurse specialist since 2011, here to help you both look and feel your best. Did you know that when you feel good, you look better? And when you look better, you feel better? Well, where can we all start with this transformation to be our most vibrant, radiant, beautiful versions? It starts in your home with reducing oxidative stress and inflammation, which I can share some details on, and also in your restroom with using the right products to feed and nourish the skin, especially if you're dealing with things like dry skin, sensitive skin, acne-prone skin, fine lines, wrinkles, and pigmentation. There are some key things that you can do at home right now to help to support your skin and slow the aging process. There's also some pretty neat technologies to help to stimulate collagen and even tell our skin to start to behave younger. I'm your guide, Rachel Varga. Learn more over at theschoolofradiance.com.
Okay, so Rachel Varga, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you, Rico.
Yeah, thank you. So let's begin. I think most people just think of their skin as far as appearance, right? But the skin is such an important organ for our whole body. So talk about the skin, a little bit more about the skin and why skin health is so important.
Yeah, the skin, just as you said it, is the largest organ of our body. And oftentimes when something is happening internally, say inflammation from some type of environmental stressor, we can talk all about where these sources of environmental stressors can come from, things that you've eaten, and emotional stressors, life stuff. It tends to display on the skin about 2 weeks later. And it tends to display in dry skin, skin redness, and also redness, darkness, and puffiness around the eyes, and even scalp irritation or irritation around the mouth. So the skin is kind of like the window into what's happening internally. So it's really great to be able to learn to read our own skin and then make those necessary adjustments in our daily living practices to really optimize that. And in the same way, we're going to be optimizing how we feel as well.
Yeah, I think the point here is that if you have something going on with your skin, you don't want to just, oh, what can I put on it, or how can I get rid of that or fix that? But you need to know what caused that and what other health challenges you may be having that's causing that. Yeah, so that's an important indicator of your overall health, right?
Absolutely. And the things that we often forget about are what are the things that we're putting on our skin? What are we using in our cleaning products, in our hair care products, our skincare, our makeup, any type of personal care product, your toothpaste? Are there hormone disrupting agents in there that are actually contributing to a shift in your hormones in a non-ideal way? And as we age and go through perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, that's the last thing we want to be doing, is adding additional stressors and things that we're spending money on that might not be great for us, instead of having those types of products really work in our benefit, like skincare to feed and nourish the skin, hair care to help with hair growth stimulation, and all of that.
Yeah. So talk about some of those stressors, that people need to be more aware of and they can avoid. And then also talk about how the skin also is such not only it protects us, but it's also a way that we eliminate toxins in our body as well.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled that you brought that up, Rico, because the skin is actually our largest detox organ.
Mhm.
And what we want to think about is this term called oxidative stress,
Mhm.
or you can also consider inflammaging, which is kind of a cheeky way to say inflammation ages us.
Mhm.
And about a year and a half ago, I wrote a research article titled Oxidative Stress Status and Its Impacts on Skin Aging to kind of actually create awareness in the medical aesthetics industry of what some of these overt signs of inflammation are before doing rejuvenation and what are main environmental contributors that we can pay attention to basically keep this toxic bucket as empty as possible so that when life does happen, we get exposed to something physical or non-physical, like I mentioned, emotional stress, life stuff, that this bucket doesn't tip over and then you get the manifestation of being tired, of brain fog, skin irritation, redness, just not feeling great, not sleeping great. We want to keep that bucket as empty as possible. I have some other research papers I've written too, specifically on eye rejuvenation and jawline rejuvenation. So if you actually go on PubMed and search my name, Rachel Varga, you will find a few of my papers there. Now, the key areas that we can get exposure to environmental toxins are air, water, lighting, electromagnetics, the foods that we're consuming, and then other things like yeast, fungi, mold, heavy metals, parasites, and other types of pathogens, essentially.
That's
So
that's just about everything that we're dealing with in life, isn't it?
yeah, and the reason I find this really interesting to study is because I've been, supporting patients in their rejuvenation journey since 2011. And I just noticed that there was this subset of patients that I was serving for so long that were ages 60 to 95, and they were just thriving. They would show up the way that they carried themselves. Their nervous systems were regulated. They could communicate clearly, their brain was functioning well, and they just responded better to rejuvenation and actually, in my opinion, needed less rejuvenation. So I started to study these individuals and how they lived. And then, of course, research what actually ages us and what some of the biomarkers of aging are, what are the things that disrupt our and speed up our aging process. So when it comes to air, water, lighting, electromagnetics, food, and pathogens, the best approach to take is actually the simplest one. And the simplest one is to purify and keep this toxic bucket as empty as possible.
Mhm.
So and actually do that before doing detoxification. So when you're detoxing, your body isn't overwhelmed with free radical oxidative stress, if you will, that can be kind of hard for the body to manage if the bucket's already full. So what I want to do is empty this bucket, keep it as empty as possible, day in and day out. So the way that looks practically and in real life in your home is purifying your air. So having some air purifiers in the home. And the reason why is most of the body's heavy metal exposure is actually from the air.
Mhm.
And having debris like heavy metals in the air, also things like dust and mold, when they rest on the skin, they actually tell the keratinocyte stem cells to die faster. And we don't want
Uh,
skin cells to die earlier than they should. So that's actually why cleansing and cleansing the skin twice a day is actually a really good idea. Isn't
I
that?
just yeah, I just wanted to add. Yeah, I've seen studies that show that the air in your home is much more contaminated and toxic than air outside. So you recommend using air filters as well.
Yeah, I have an air purifier in my bedroom, in my main living space, and also in my kitchen to help to manage the VOCs, the volatile organic compounds that can be released when we're cooking our foods at home, which I definitely recommend doing a majority of your cooking at home. And the air purification is really key. And then the next on the list is water quality.
Mhm.
And if we think about water, say, for example, I'm on Vancouver Island. However, I serve clients across the globe online here, and also clients come to see me from across the world. The importance of purifying our water is very important. Even if you say have some information that, hey, the local water is pretty good, maybe that was tested at the facility that treats the water, but the water travels through various pipes. And in my research, I found that a lot of pipes are PVC piping. So they release phthalates, which are hormone disruptors. So anything that's a fragrance, actually, in skincare, personal care products, or perfume is known to be hormone disruptive. And then also in the pipes that carry the water, there can be accumulation of biofilms. And the pipes underground never get cleaned out, do they?
Yeah. No, they do not. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why purifying your water at home is really important. There's various different types of air purification modalities, water purification modalities. That's a bit of a different, longer conversation.
Yeah.
But drinking purified water as often as you can and actually having it set up in your home is just something very easy to do at when the time is right.
Yeah. Okay, so how about food now?
Yeah, food quality is very important. So our soils are more depleted now, and we also have more things in the soil to yield more crops, to allow for livestock to grow in a certain way. So there are things in the soils that the foods end up and the livestock end up absorbing. Our foods now are not as nutrient dense as, say, previous generations' experiences. So there's more oxalates and phytic acid, lectins in certain foods. Now, what I want to encourage is to take this testing instead of guessing approach. I don't think that anybody truly can do a food elimination diet properly. And there's so many affordable tests on the market now that are like a few $100s that can give you very specific information for you as to which foods are going to be your superfood, enjoy, minimize, or flat out avoid foods.
Yeah.
And it might be contrary to what you've been hearing in the mainstream as being superfoods, like, for example, kale, that actually is highly inflammatory for a lot of people. So it's just a matter of testing instead of guessing. And also the thing with nutrition, Rico, that I'm sure you know a lot about this, is making sure we're getting enough protein in our diet for muscle.
Mm-hmm. Get enough and also, I just may add, uh, I, the first thing you can also do is just to try, if all possible, eat organic. That make a big difference. And then just like my very first book, Real Food, Real Fast, eat real food. You know, real food doesn't come label. You don't have to see if there's any toxic ingredient in it. It's already perfectly balanced by Mother Nature. So try and make it 80% of your, at least 80% of your diet real food. That's organic fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and some healthy grains and some healthy animal products. That'll be a big plus as well.
100%. And I know for me, I used to eat salads all day long. And I felt like it would take me an hour to eat my dinner. And then I did the tweak to having more protein in my diet. And it allowed me to trim down, actually. It allowed me to put more muscle on. And having more muscle, as you know, Rico, is key for longevity and protecting and strengthening our bones as we age. And so that's been my mission over the last while, is to put on basically as much muscle as I possibly can.
Yeah,
And
that's definitely a good idea for so many reasons. Yeah. Okay. How about the sun? You know, I am a sun worshiper. I've been out too much. I mean, the sun is really healthy for us, but talk a little bit about that. You know, how you can, you know, avoid getting sunburn and then, you know, there's so many sunscreens out there. And I know some of those are actually toxic, right?
this is a fantastic question. One of the beautiful things about the sunshine is, well, we wouldn't be here without
Yeah.
sunlight.
Yeah.
We literally wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be having this conversation. So the sun plays a very key role in plants being able to do photosynthesis for then us to eat and clean the air that we breathe. And then also our oceans, right? There's lots of air purification things that happen with our oceans. And when we first arise in the day, actually getting in that natural sunlight in our eyes and then observing and taking in the beauty of the sunset is great to help our circadian rhythm. And if you do anything to help support you and reduce inflammation and make your body healthier and happier, you should start to look better, and you should also start to sleep better. And the sun is kind of this, it's an interesting topic for me to cover because I personally love the sun. And here I am as a bit of a skin expert. And I am a huge fan of getting full body sun exposure, not in the peak of elevated UV index hours, but earlier in the day on as much of my full body as possible. Now, the interesting thing is, I can't skin type you or anybody else listening here, but with my skin type, I actually have a little bit higher of a risk of developing certain skin cancers. I've actually had a precancerous lesion removed because I was a naughty young lady that was in the sunbeds in my late 20s, had something removed.
Not good. Sunbeds, yeah.
I know. However, the emptier your toxic bucket is, the more able your body can manage the free radical production and oxidative stress that is actually caused by the sun. Skin cancer is very real. However, with protecting the high real estate areas regularly, which includes the face, eyelids, lips, neck, sides of the neck, especially back of the neck for men too, top of the chest, and the hands, I'm a huge fan of regular skincare in the AM and PM on the high real estate areas and mineral-only sunscreen. It's the chemical sunscreen filters that are quite toxic for us. There are some mineral ingredients that aren't as ideal. So I love zinc.
Yeah, zinc oxide, that's the best.
Yeah, and so I can definitely make some recommendations on my skin shop. However, it's not just that. It's not just a sunscreen that's going to protect you from the sun. It's really actually keeping this toxic bucket as empty as possible. So that for me, I used to burn in 10, 15 minutes and now I can be outside for much longer because my body can manage that stressor. So I was burning in 10, 15 minutes years ago in the sun because my toxic bucket was full.
Yeah.
And then I just included more antioxidants into my nutrition and reduced oxidative stress on all fronts. There's a few other areas as well. It allowed me to be a little bit more sun tolerant because we all want to be outside and play at the beach and, get the most of our life.
That's some great information. Okay, we're going to take a short break to play our sponsor's commercial, and we'll be right back. And then we'll talk about some specific products and your product line, and then also how people can get a hold of you. I know you have a special offer for our audience.
Try a sample pack of low-acid, healthy Cafe Pure coffee with a 25% discount. Go to livepure.com/ageless coffee and click on Cafe Pure at the top, and you can order your sample coffee. And I'm quite sure you're going to love it.
Yeah, I might just say, so many people drink coffee, so you might as well drink healthy coffee. Actually, this coffee has no acid in it, which causes a lot of people problems, and it has cordyceps mushrooms, which really help your brain function and your immune system. So give that healthy coffee a try. Okay, we're back with Rachel Varga. So let's talk about, there's so many products in the market. They make so many claims and all this stuff. So talk a little bit about that and what products really are, what people should be using. And I know you have a really good line of really healthy products.
Thank you, Rico. Okay, so the beauty industry, let's just get real. here for a second.
Yeah.
How advertising works is it preys on you being in fear and also fear of missing out and you not being good enough. And then you see these ads that are greenwashed that say, oh, it's all natural, chemical free, and it has like some green on the label. And you've probably seen it as featured in here or is on this specific website that they actually pay to be on those websites. I'm not going to say what that website is. You might know about it, that you might use things to like search your products that you purchase. So there's a lot of different things about the beauty space that, as you can tell, kind of irritate me a little bit because I have a background in general chemistry, organic chemistry, and biochemistry. And in chemistry terms, anything that's natural is from planet Earth. So petroleum is natural, but we know that's not great for us. Mm-hmm. And anything that a type of label that says chemical free, well, water is a chemical with the combination of oxygen and hydrogen coming together to create a chemical of two different atoms. So there's a lot of misleading things out there, and there's a lot of hidden ingredients and preservatives in products that also don't need to be there. There's also filler ingredients in a lot of skincare products now. We see canola oil that's entered into a number of different very popular skincare and beauty brands over the years. And I think what happens and why this happens is a company could have previously been pretty good, but then they sell. And then the company that takes over wants to increase the margins. And with that comes lowering the quality. The way you want to look at skincare, the products that you use, is you want to look at them as being like food for your skin, nourishing your skin, and also not preserved with all of these different agents like parabens, phthalates, all different types of things that are known hormone disruptors. There's also been some sneaky things done with certain preservative names that make them a little bit difficult for the layperson to identify as not being great for you. So personally, I like to use products that I could feel comfortable putting in my mouth and eating. And so having been in the industry since 2011 as a medical aesthetics practitioner, teacher, trainer, lecturer, write medical journals, I've worked with some of the best practitioner grade products for many years. I still felt like they could be made better and more clean. And so I've actually finally, since 2011, recently, after many years of research and development, created my own line, the Always Radiant skincare line. And it's actually, the items are preserved with colloidal silver, which is revolutionary. And I'm also utilizing carbon 60 as a potent antioxidant, and antioxidants help the body manage free radical stress. So I've got everything, a foaming cleanser that takes off your makeup, a light and heavy moisturizer depending on what your skin needs, hyaluronic acid, carbon 60 serum, eye cream, copper peptide, recovery cream, lots of different products. But what's most important is actually what your skin needs. Right? So you won't see me do a skin quiz because the skin quiz is like it's a bit of a gimmick, right? You answer all these questions in a skin quiz on a website. And here's your routine. There's a little bit more that's involved in that. So what I would say is there are some basics to include in your skin is cleansing twice a day, moisturizing twice a day, exfoliating a couple times a week with the right kind of exfoliant for your skin. And obviously a little bit of mineral sun protection. Then there's some makeup and other things too. So yeah, I love to provide guidance, and it is a little bit individual based on the specific skin concerns, the value, your personal values of what you want to use, what you don't want to use, your budget, all sorts of things. So I take this into account.
Yeah, I know you have a special for our audience where they can get a skin consultation with you. So tell them a little, just got about a minute left here. So tell them just quickly about that and where they can go, and also where they can find all your products.
Absolutely. I have been offering one-on-one virtual consultations since about 2018 for clients across the globe, primarily in North America. So I make it easy. I save you time and money. We talk about what your skin goals are. I get into some other things too that we've kind of briefly talked on here that could be impacting your skin and aging process. And then I provide recommendations. So this consultation is very unique. Nobody else is really doing what I'm doing, which still kind of is surprising to me. So for those of you tuning in, I warmly invite you to book a one-on-one consultation with me and use promo code RICO15 at checkout over at theschoolofradiance.com, where you can also find some of my other free resources, including access to the School of Radiance podcast.
Rachel, thank you so much. That was so much great information. I really appreciate you being here. So if you like today's episode, tell your friends about the Fearless Aging podcast, not podcast, this is the TV show, and be sure and go over to the schoolofradiance.com. Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Rico Cavell.